Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today we've got large school predictions, classes 4, 5, and 6. Before we get to that, we got to talk about the teams in the spotlight this Friday night. We've got two Missouri Sports Talk games of the week. First off, I'm sending Easton out to Odessa versus Southern Boone. That's a good one. I believe it was a 7-point game this past year at Southern Boone. Now Odessa with a new head coach. It's going to be fun. They're looking to prove a point. Where I'm going is the Callaway Cup. I nominated that as the Class 2 game of the week, and that's where I will be. North Callaway versus South Callaway. Last year, they split 1-1. North Callaway won in the opener. South Callaway won in the first week of playoffs. It's going to be a big game. Maybe we see them play 2 times again this season. We'll see. It's going to be fireworks. So let's go ahead and get to the Class 4 scoreboard. We'll start off with Bolivar hosting Osage. This past season, Osage won 35-0, and, it's tough to flip it. It happens a lot, but I will stick with Osage. They won 8 games this past season. I think they kind of sit in that range again, 8 wins including playoffs. Bolivar, they're going to be good, but for right now, I'm going to keep riding with Osage. Carl Junction versus Capital City. This past year, Cap City won at home 45-7, their first ever meeting. And I believe these guys are district favorites. It's sounding like Helias will be moving up to Class 6, and that completely opens it up for the Cavaliers. Carl Junction not betting against them this year. They got a really tough schedule, so I think if they're going to start stringing together wins, it's going to be at the start of the playoffs. But for this game, I will stick with Cap City. Kearney versus Fort Osage is our Class 4 game of the week. The Bulldogs were Final Four bound this past year. The year before that, they were the state champs. They beat Hillsboro. I've got them winning Class 4 this year. Fort Osage, they're a sleeper, definitely. They have a tough schedule, so we'll see how that one goes. Kearney is 5-1 since 2016 against them, so this one is one to keep your eye on. Kirksville versus Macon. This past season, the Kirksville Tigers won 35-0. They're 3-4 against Macon actually since 2018. But with Nesbitt going into his second season as head coach, I think he could probably take just about any program in the state and turn them into a contender. Last year, Kirksville went 9-0. I think they kind of sit around that same way. 7-9 regular season wins this year. They're on a 2-game win streak against Macon. I think they make it 3 at home. Monette versus Nevada to open up the season for these two teams. The Cubs, they're always good during the summer. This past summer and this summer, they looked really fiery. They're winning, camp championships. But last year, they won 3 games. So it kind of makes me wonder, are these guys, I don't want to put the tab 7-on-7 Warriors on them because that's really disrespectful, and I like these Monette guys. But I just need to see it actually translate on the field during the fall, and it didn't last year. We'll see if it will this year, but I really enjoy Nevada. They're winning 5 straight against Monette, and I think they make it 6 on the road. Pleasant Hill versus Savannah is a really interesting one. Both of them returning QB1, Sawyer for Pleasant Hill and Aiden for Savannah. Last year, it was a gritty 14-12 win for Pleasant Hill on the road. I think with it being a home game, returning QB1, like I said, there's going to be a lot more scoring for both sides, in my opinion, and I think Pleasant Hill gets it done. Class 5 now. We'll start off with Eureka and Francis Howell. This game is tonight, actually. Eureka, they lost almost their whole entire offensive line, but Francis Howell, they had a rough schedule last year. A rough season, I should say. It was a tough schedule, but it was a rough season. I think they won 4 games. And Eureka, they went 9-0 during the regular season. So I do think with returning Trevor Kodak, that's going to be big for Eureka. And I will go with the Wildcats here. They're 3-0 since 2016 against Francis Howell. So we'll see if the Vikings can finally pick up a win against them. Fort Zumwalt West versus Kirkwood, also Thursday night matchup tonight. I'm going to take the Kirkwood Pioneers. They're getting help at quarterback with Cooper Owens, and they won last season 49-21 against the Jags. So give me the Pioneers on the road. Helias versus Hannibal. Give me the Crusaders here. I feel like that one's an easier pick, kind of. They are 5-6 against Hannibal since 2015, but they're on a 3-game win streak. They're coming off of a runner-up season in Class 5. I think the Crusaders continue to roll into this regular season. MICDS versus Live for Life. I'm taking the Rams here at home. Live for Life, they go through a really tough regular season schedule to get playoff ready, and I like that about Coach Woolfolk, but I don't know if they defeat the Rams on the road here. MICDS, it's their first time playing them. They made the Final Four this past year, so I do think the Rams continue the success that they've had. Republic versus Nixa is the Class 5 game of the week. It has to be. This past season, it wasn't very close, 49-14 actually, but I think it's closer this year. Republic is hosting it, and that's going to be a really big thing for them. We'll see if Nixa can handle that crowd. That was probably the rowdiest crowd that I saw this past year, potentially. I think that was the rowdiest crowd, and it was actually a Saturday game against Elias. They did lose that game, so we'll see how this goes. Nixa is my Class 6 state championship pick, so we'll see. St. Pius X of Kansas City playing Rockhurst. This past season, Rockhurst won 24-12. I think it gets flipped. Give me the Warriors here. They're really strong in the trenches, and I think that's big for them. They've got the better lines, and yeah, I think the Warriors will be able to beat Rockhurst. I just don't know how the Hawklets will be this season, so week 1 is going to be a big teller for me. Class 6, we'll start off with Blue Springs South versus Liberty North. I'm going to go with South here. It's probably an unpopular pick. They're 1-6 against Liberty North since 2015. But Blue Springs South is improving heavily. They're bringing back their quarterback, Aiden Wilhelm. He is committed to Rice, so a D1 quarterback for the Jags. He's going to have a really good season. Liberty North, I'm just not certain what they're going to do. They lost their QB, if I'm correct about that, so we'll see how they replace that talent. I think the Eagles are really good, but I will go with the Jags. It is a home game, so that's a really big one for me. If I haven't said this already, it was 21-20 this past season at Liberty North. So now, with that being such a close game, I feel like Blue Springs South has improved. Liberty North, around the same, maybe slightly worse, but it's a home game for the Jags. I think that's the big decider for me. Jackson versus Cardinal Ritter is the Class 6 game of the week. There's no atmosphere in Missouri that defeats the Pit. I think that's going to be a big thing in this game. Cardinal Ritter did win 44-7 this past season, but they lost a lot of senior talent. This is a really young team now this year, and Jackson is 3-1 against Cardinal Ritter since 2020. So this past season was their first loss against Cardinal Ritter. We'll see how this one goes. Joplin versus Kickapoo. I'm going to take Joplin here. They won 30-7 this past season, and they're on a 5-game win streak against Kickapoo. I believe the Chiefs had 4 wins this past season, and Joplin was indeed better than that. So I will go with the Eagles winning another game. Lee Summit North versus Ray-Pec could be interesting. Ray-Pec, a new head coach. They're pretty rough these past 2 or 3 seasons. The Broncos are in an interesting spot. They self-reported some dead week work, and now their head coach and their top assistant coach are suspended for the first 3 games. We'll see if that ends up mattering in this one. I personally think that Lee Summit North will be just fine. So give me the Broncos. They're 10-4 against Ray-Pec since 2015. They're on a 6-game win streak against the Panthers. So it's an obvious pick here. Liberty versus Lee Summit is going to be very fun. Liberty, they're improving, in my opinion. Lee Summit, they are highly rated on just about everything that I've seen. I don't know if I'm just seeing something different or what. They're going to be really good this season. I will say that. I believe they'll be really good. But it's just kind of interesting to me that they're top 10 in the state to a lot of people. I just haven't really seen that in my mind. So I'm not dogging on Lee Summit or anything. Like I just said, I think they're really good. I will take Liberty here week 1. They're hosting the game. That's going to be a really big thing. They're 3-2 against Lee Summit since 2018. And this past season, they did lose to Lee Summit on the road. So with it being flipped, I think the home team wins this one. Rockbridge versus Park Hill. This past season, it was 3 overtimes. Park Hill wins at home in triple OT 46-45. I believe the result gets flipped. I don't think this one goes to triple overtime. I do still believe it's a close game. I will take the Rockbridge Bruins at home. They lost last year, like I said, 46-45. They did lose their quarterback, Brady Davidson, to NIU, but they've got Neville's in there now as a sophomore. So he's got 3 years as a starting QB if he succeeds. That's a bright future for Rockbridge, and I think it starts week 1. That's all we got for today. Hope you enjoy. This one was probably a shorter video. We'll have finals from this past week now for the rest of the videos, so they will extend just a little bit. So that's all we got for today. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.